So the question is how we can kind of talk about or demonstrate electrical interference problems here is by seeing like what we're all wearing. I know there are some phones on people here. We have a brain-powered backpack or battery-powered backpack. If we all turn to search and myself and my camera guy are off and they're not sending a signal, what should we get?
Nothing.
No beeping, right? So let's do that now. Let's turn all to search. No beeping. Sometimes what just takes a little bit of time. Like everybody says, oh, my phone's off or in airplane mode, right? Well, the phone's never off. You ever watch an old gangster movie? What do the old gangsters like to do? Take the battery out of the phone? Oh. What was that?
A beep.
Was that a weird beep, eh? I wonder. Yeah. Interesting. Anybody else
showing anything?
Beep? Did it show you a number?
No, nothing. Oh, it's just saying 28.
28. But we're all shut off.
29.
Interesting. What about
41,
you?
36. There
Nothing?
was 2 for a second.
Oh, now there was 2.
30.
Interesting as well.
So I wanted to talk to everybody a little bit about electrical issues. We're cruising down the highway here, headed to the Coke to actually teach some riding skills to some avalanche professionals so that they can get out on their snowmobiles and maybe cut the cost of having to use helicopters a little bit to do their forecasting work. But on the way there, you know, I've been doing a lot of videos about electrical interference and transceivers.
So one of the things we talk about is potentially beep checking while riding snowmobiles. And how functional is this? So somebody steps off their sleds, turns to search as other people are riding up. But it creates some problems. Some people ride too fast. Some people might leave their transceiver off and you get too close and you get a false reading. So there's some key things with actually doing this that you got to watch. So as you see, I'm watching this rider come in. I'm in search. I'm not picking anything up yet, but he's riding too fast. Slow down. Still nothing, right? So stop. Okay, now I got him. Stop it. So now we've got him at 16, but really we didn't get a good measurement on him, right? We didn't get a good distance, but we have him at 16, so that's good. Go ahead, go past. We watch the numbers go down. 6.3. That's great. You know, we know he's beeping. Now we have this rider coming in. He's going at a decently slow rate. We pick him up where? Sure doesn't do a great range trek, does it? But what's going on here? Oh wow, is he beeping or is he not beeping? I don't think he's beeping. Am I just picking up the signal from this sled? Let's shut the sled off here, bud. What were you thinking? Is he beeping or not? That's the question right now. So when you're doing a beep check with a sled, it can create a lot of issues, and we have to be thinking about those issues, right?
I'm off.
He's off. So we're actually picking up a ghost signal from the snow machine. So we have to...
And even though it's fairly complicated, I probably can't get through it all perfectly in this video, I wanted to take some of that footage and make you realize what is the issue with electrical interference. And I know a lot of people are just kind of generalizing this conversation right now, but over the years that I've been doing motorized avalanche rescue procedures, I've been able to outline and create a policy and a procedure to instruct to avoid getting caught by electrical interference. And the great thing about snowmobiles is that we actually have a place to put our electrical interference, where the ski snowboard communities or other backcountry users don't have a place to put those things. And I just wanted to cover a few of the key topics that electrical interference creates.
So there's a lot of conversation we've been having about electrical interference, and the snowmobile is part of that problem as well. And you know, back in the day, people were talking about using a snowmobile to look for a signal and drive through terrain. And you know, over the years, my 15 years of practicing this, you know, doing about 60, 70 scenarios a year with people, is that's never really been a functional idea, because the transceiver, doesn't really matter which model, make, model, or brand, will get an electrical ghost signal once in a while from these machines. So you have to watch that. If they've been shut off for a while, 3 to 5 minutes, they don't tend to be a problem, you know, but gauges, Bluetooth options, all the rest of it, as soon as I started it, I get a ghost signal, right? So driving around and looking for a signal, not really a functional opportunity, you know, where you can just get random ghost signals, which screws you, the operator, up to, you know, interpreting that as a signal that you're looking for. So that's where problems come in with the sleds. And I actually really find when the sleds are running at a distance of about 15, 20 feet, I can also get them to give us a ghost signal that's not functional. And not being an electrical engineer myself and just being a practitioner, you know, and I'm doing some reading, the magnetos potentially are the issue. But I would challenge the industry to start answering those questions, because over the years, I've designed something called motorized avalanche rescue procedures. And why I've done that is to try to reduce the chances of electrical interference inside of motorized avalanche rescue training. And of course, and if you actually need to. So, you know, keeping your electrical interference on our sleds is a really nice asset, because when I head out in the backcountry and I'm skiing or snowboarding, or I'm in a helicopter and skiing, I have to keep my cell phone on my person. So really, the industry has told you to keep that 50, 60 centimeters away from wearing your transceiver to not block that signal. But man, what about when I'm actually buried and all of a sudden this is closer to the surface? That cell phone I had here is closer to the surface and the searching transceiver gets over it. What happens then? And depending on your Ford, Chevy, Dodge, they all respond to electrical interference differently.
You know, everybody's got like a cell phone. People wear Fitbits. They have an iWatch. I personally bought an iWatch, and you know, I stopped wearing it because, man, under distress, what a challenge to remember what wrist it's on, potentially if it's causing me any electrical interference. So we got to really think about those things when we're beep checking. If we're using a snowmobile to beep check, that's also quite really challenging. You know, it's sled gets too close, you're not picking it up, that magneto's spinning around, creating some electrical disturbances in the air. If you're using a snowmobile to beep check, you better be really sure that you're doing it correctly. What about in the parking lot with, you know, all the trucks in the parking lot with Wi-Fi options and stuff like that? How are we doing beep checks there? But let's see.
Another thing that's really interesting is what people are wearing when they're actually transceiver checking you, or doing a beep check can also be a problem, other ghost signals. You know, a lot of people have new smartwatches and Fitbits and vape pens and cell phones. And if you put a cell phone on you, you could actually be getting a weird ghost signal from that. And that could create a problem with your beep check. Or if you have an iWatch like I do here, what happens as soon as I put it in this hand with my iWatch? There's no signal in range right now whatsoever. But man, I changed hands quickly, kind of forgot my iWatch was there, and I get weird random ghost signals that don't exist. And they can give us false interpretations of what's going on with the transceiver. So just so you know, that ghost signal we just had, my iWatch and Bluetooth is all off, and so is the cellular. Just getting close to the battery and too close can actually cause a problem still. Even with all the airplane and cellular data shut off, we can still get weird random ghost signals just from batteries and heated gloves and stuff. So if somebody's beep checking you with a heated glove, is that a really good way to beep check you or range check? You know, electrical interference can really cause us some real big headaches with our equipment out here.
But let's say we get into a rescue and I have my vape pen in my pocket, and okay, maybe I'm not getting electrical interference, but as I'm looking for a transceiver, you know, and I don't have anything in the range, and I'm actually signal searching, and I draw it too close, the battery in different vape pens may cause a ghost signal to show up, or maybe that's your Fitbit that it gets too close to, or maybe your actual cell phone. One of the other issues I kind of come across quite a bit, depending on Ford, Chevy, Dodge, or what I mean by that, Tracker, Mammut, Peeps, they all kind of react differently to electrical interferences. Man, when people are doing a fine search, and let's say they've got a quality signal from the buried transceiver, but somebody gets too close with their electrical interference, that means their iWatch, their Fitbit, or maybe even some of the electrical fan bags that exist out there. If that gets too close to that searching transceiver, while it's actually looking on that fine search and it listens harder to the airwaves, it'll start showing two burials when there isn't two burials within range. So I wanted to cover a few of those things in the video here.
So really, what is happening in this world? Let's shut them all off.
There we go. I seen 2 seconds.
Let's shut all of them off. I'm going to go into search. You're going to follow me a little bit with that. So really, what's happening? This transceiver right now, you hear that old audio? Basically what the transceiver's doing is listening to airwaves. So every day that we get up, we all put ourselves into send, and we're sending that beep. When somebody's missing, all of us need to go to search to look for that beep. And how these things are giving you little numbers and arrows to follow is it's listening to the airwaves on a...
Perfect.